In today's landscape, men roles, women roles, even gender roles, there seems to be a lot more fluidity going on. So I'd kind of want to start with a bit of a lay of the land of what are you seeing right now when it comes to men and women and the current situation in the world on how we operate.
Okay, so communication is everything in sales. And when you communicate, you want to be able to use your words in a way where a person can feel your best intention. So, as I start talking about ways to talk to women, how women can talk to men, some people can interpret it like I'm saying how to manipulate the other person. And this is not about manipulation. This is not tricks to manipulate. There are people that teach those ideas, maybe. It's not, but it is. I'm communicating always with an awareness of how I'm going to be received. And am I communicating in a way that builds trust? Am I communicating in a way that empowers somebody? Am I communicating in a way uh, that will motivate someone to buy what I'm selling if what I'm selling is right for them? You see, I'm not this guy who just like I want to make money and I'm going to try to get you to buy this and maybe you don't need it. Maybe it's not the best thing for you. But at the same time, I want to help you, if it is the best thing for you, help you find that part of you that really feels this is what I want. Because a lot of times, men or women, regardless, nobody likes on a certain level, generally speaking, people don't like to say yes. Okay. It's like, I'm going to give my money to you. I'm going to commit myself to receiving from you. I was like, can I really trust you? And so when you making a sale, just right out is, and this is not just Mars Venus knowledge. Mars Venus knowledge is when you're dealing with a woman, how to build the trust so that they feel comfortable saying yes. And if you're dealing with a man, how to build the relationship so he's going to feel the trust and the motivation. Okay, so particularly for women, they become more motivated to buy when they feel I can trust you and I feel safe with you. Now, certainly that's true for men, but what's more true for a man is to communicate in a way that will motivate him to pick you. Okay, so if we just kind of look at relationships, generally speaking, and people can say, well, where do you come to these conclusions? Well, as a therapist, what I hear in personal relationships, usually women stop feeling safe in their relationships. I can't express myself. He'll get upset, or he'll feel I'm being too demanding, or I'll sound like a complainer, or I'll be a nag. So they hold themselves in a lot. I don't feel safe. And particularly if a man in a relationship gets annoyed and irritated by things, she feel like, oh, then I have to be careful because men are really scary when they get angry. Historically, in terms of our primitive brain, when a man is angry, your life is in danger. When a woman is angry, your life, generally speaking, is not in danger. Okay, so you don't have such of a fight or flight response, but an angry man will generate a fight or flight response in his relationships. And what's the opposite of an angry man? This is what you have to realize: is a man who is not reactive to you, but provides a message that says, "I care about you. I care about you." And the not angry part is I understand where you're coming from. Okay, so usually women will complain in relationships. Again, where we find about the inner dynamics of people is in their personal relationships. See, on the
Mm.
surface in the work world, it's like men and women are the same. But biologically, we're different and we're motivated by our hormones. If something makes me feel good, makes me feel at ease, and I'm a woman, I'm more inclined to go with you. So, what are the things a man can say or do that helps a woman feel like, oh, he's somebody I can depend on? He may even be more expensive, but this is somebody I want to work with. Because for
Mm.
women, it's more about relationship. Now, the truth is, all success is about relationship. Okay. So, how you're able to communicate with a person so that they feel safe in your presence and motivated to be with you. And particularly with men, women will often complain in their relationship, my husband no longer has that motivation that he used to have. We were different people. After we get married and whatever, we tend to lose our motivation to do all the little things, thinking that, well, I'm doing the big stuff. Why do I need to do the little stuff? And what men don't understand is that what builds trust for women to trust and open their hearts is the little things. Okay. particularly in today, you can go online and find the cost of, I can get the best price anywhere. All right. I can have this option. There's so many options. If you're the only painter in town, you're going to get the job. But if there's a lot of painters in town, who are you going to pick? And I first became aware of this with Bonnie, my wife. Now, Bonnie, I talk about her all the time because I learned this stuff in that relationship. She's passed on now. She died of cancer. I'm now remarried, and so I'll jump from one relationship to another. But that's how you find what is ticking inside of people. It's in their personal relationships. On the work world, there's a lot of defenses up, and what you want to do to sell, to be successful, is to have somebody be your, somebody else says this word, but I love it, raving fan. Okay. I have raving fans. Wherever I go, people say, "You saved our marriage. You're amazing." And I'm kind of like, well, I wrote the book, but it's hard to even take all that, but they just love me. And when people love you, when we say, "Oh, this guy, he painted my house. I love him," or "I love the job he did. It was fantastic. You ought to try this person." It's, we don't normally think of love as being a part of selling. But it's all a part of selling. When you fan, you love that person. It's just like, the guy who works for me who does my yard. I love him. Okay, he's been with me for 34 years. And I'm starting a new business now, which will make a lot of money. I'm going to put him in charge of one of them. Just he's too old to do the muscle work. He has to have a helper. But I'm going to give him a job that's going to make him even more money and not have to use his muscles because he's family. Because I love this guy, and so. How did he get me to love him? So when I'm loving someone, we have to understand that we have what's called a male and a female side. Okay. The part of us that becomes a raving fan is our female side. It's the part of us that can love someone. And you love someone based particularly, without getting all idealistic here, when somebody does something for you, you love them. Okay? You appreciate them. And there's different flavors of love, because in the work world, we just don't use the word love, but it's all about love. So let me identify 6 flavors. There's more, 12 in my book, but it's a big, long talk. But the most important forms of love is, I care about you. You're a priority. Now, if I'm a woman, that's one of the most important needs she has, is to feel that you care about me. Okay, so you started, when Men Are From Mars came out, I was consulting with all the banks, and you saw there's a huge change. This is in the 90s, a long time ago, but we still have the advertising. We're a person-to-person bank. We care about you. We have relationships with you. Never did they say that before. It was men realizing, who are running the banks, that women have the most money. Their husbands die, they've got the money, and now they've got jobs and they got the money. So how do we get the women to do business with it? We have to know personal skills, which is demonstrate in little ways that you're a priority. Men do not understand this. A man will tend to, instinctively, we don't understand this. We think the big things build trust. Okay, like, and again, in a male-female relationship, one of the problems wealthy men have, and you see they have it, you look at a Bill Gates or the guy who, Amazon, their wives left them. Now you think, they got everything. How can they, not be happy? Those men did not understand the little things that help women feel loved. And what I mean by loved, in every situation, it shows you're a priority to me. I care about you. So how would you translate it into the sales word? Well, basically, you've got someone and you're building a relationship with them, and they ask you a question, and you might, with a man, I pretty much need to have an answer for everything. Okay, because a man wants to see, as I'm going to sell him something, what's the benefit of working with me? The benefit of working with me is that you will do less. See, we have a gene as men that's very, very clear, and that's not a scientific thing, but it's a way of saying, it's like a metaphor. We have a biological tendency, almost all men, to never do anything you don't have to do. So if this is going to save me time, this is going to save me money, this is going to do something that I don't have to do, I can delegate it to you. Now, certainly I need trust there, but most important, I need to know that if I work with you, I'm not going to have to do as much. This is what men all want. It's what I call, it's the efficiency gene. Okay, efficiency. Not that women can't be efficient, men can be efficient, but we have this gene that really says all the time, never do anything I don't have to do.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.